Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I hope you're absolutely fantastic. So, I haven't made many updates around Bitcoin because of one of two things. One is I've been looking to see if there is a confirmed turning point on the higher time frame, which is standard practice for my strategy. And two, to see whether or not, I think one pretty much covers it. And as we see over here, it was good that we didn't call a change in market direction. Man, I love my strategy. You know how cool that is, by the way. Because it seems to be wanting to get to up there. Now, what does it mean to us should price get up here, which seems to be the plan? Well, the good news is that higher highs mean uptrend. So Bitcoin's trying to take us into an uptrend. And that's basically the end of the video. So what that means to the lower time frames is buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. I think you can stop the video here if you need to get back to whatever it was that you're doing, because that's basically what the message is. So just to continue on what's going on the lower time frames, we can chat about things such as confirmed turning points and where they will be. So over here, the structure looks better if we move 1 to there and then find a 3, 4 and onwards. The biggest headache for me on the higher time frames when it comes to charts is this sideways consolidation stuff. I hate it so much because it's quite misleading. It requires patience and frustration and discipline, overcoming frustration and discipline and so forth. And it's difficult to tell where the confirmed turning point is. So it almost like puts us into a place, when I say us, traders, but specifically those who know what they're doing, for example the guys who know MTOPS, it puts us into a place of wait for confirmation, wait for confirmation, wait for confirmation. Because there's one thing being able to forecast the future of markets before they happen as accurately as we do. There's another thing also being in partnership with the markets and not trying to rush into them, and also listening to what they have to say. It's very important that very much like sales and so forth, we listen first and then respond, rather than just kind of talk at the market and the market loses interest and does whatever it wants anyway. So these are the periods where we got to kind of like sit tight and be like, is this the high, or is that the high? No. Is that the high? No. Is that the high? No. Is that the high? Yeah, it looks like that's the high, and that's because of the structure that it has. So just something to point out there. And then once you get clear structure, that's generally when you see good angles because of support and resistance lines, you can then reevaluate where the next one is. So it's very, very similar to what we've just seen. The question will be, for here, is that the high? Is this the high? Where is the next high for this turning point? So there are two cases that we can make over here. One is that it's located there. Two is it's located here or further, right? So what I'm going to go with right now is working with this potential configuration, but I'm going to take that away before I actually place that down. Well, I think there's a setting in here somewhere that I can take that away. In fact, let's see. Yep, there it is. So what we've got is a symmetrical triangle. Damn it. I'm going to try and make that line visible. Let's see if there's a cutter or something here. There we go. It's better. Okay. Let me just try maybe draw. Perhaps drawing is easier. Yeah, something to that effect. Okay, so it's not absolutely straight and perfect, but you get the idea. So that when there's a symmetrical triangle, I've learned only in the late stages of my trading experience, because I've worked with AI and the way that AI sees the patterns in the markets. I now don't use the absolute high or low as the point for my turning point. I use the one that makes most sense relative to the geometrical shapes that are pertinent at that place. So in other words, there are two things that I look out for. That's symmetrical triangles and double bottoms and double tops. The course explains why those are the two shapes that matter, other than not looking at any other shape. And so in this instance, the low will be here and not, as I would have had it back when I was learning the strategy, back there. Okay? So again, thank you AI for educating me through pattern recognition and the way that you see things differently. So I'm going to put turning point 4 there for now, and then just allow it to play out. And obviously look for confirmations to see if this is the play, and so on. So another reason why MTOPS is so important is because there's been so many fake outs, and fake outs create losses, or market restructures, something to that effect, which creates losses. And therefore, I don't necessarily want to just jump at every single action, and it's better just to wait for confirmation. It's just to avoid losses. There's risk management and being loss adverse. Okay. And also, I suppose over here, what I can mention is that the oscillator supports that structure. Let's do one more for today, and then maybe next week more. So I've been so busy with trying to get the AI forecasts out. I'll probably save it for the end of the video. Let's get this done first before I chat about that. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're looking for the next high, which is a 9. I'm just qualifying different possibilities, and I'm going to go with that because I don't really want to spend too much time here. All right, so let's put 9 there. Quite a crazy move. Obviously, this was a quiet period, and then this market action made up for that quiet period. Then we're going to get down to 10. Look for 1. Seems like it's going to be okay. As I mentioned to the 512, you see how there's the kill zone. I spoke about avoiding losses. So the reason why I'm not opening a position here is because it looks like it's going to be rejected along this kill zone, because it's quite early for a 4 to move to a 5, because 5 should typically appear at the middle of the circle. You guys know this stuff. The 1 to 8 is also showing that we're getting some resistance along there, which means this could be a potential turning point. Okay. Okay. I do feel for the developer, because I know what it's like to develop. You have to think about so much. But unfortunately, there's a lot of work still to be done on this software. So I want to go from there to there. Okay, so that can be a potential turning point, and then we look for turning points to follow. So basically, not a lot to respond on with the high time frames. We know that the trend direction is going to go up on the 2048, but on the 512 we've hit a kill zone, and then the 128 I think we might have a turning point, trying to restructure down to the next one potentially. That's a potentiality. I don't want to get too lost in it right now. Because I think the point I'm trying to make is that what I've been working on is to not run into these difficulties. So with my AI project, I'm working on the 30-second chart, so that whilst the guesswork and wait for confirmation and all that cool stuff that takes a long time to achieve on the higher frames is happening, we've got multiple opportunities appearing per day. So let me just try to show you a bit more what that looks like. Okay, so over here, for example, was a great opportunity to earn. Another great place, so this would have been avoided. And I've got the AI models that would have been able to show me that. Just generate some outdated one. This is not relevant to the now moment. So pressing a button, it's thinking, it's going through to the database, getting all that market information. And once it's done, the light will go green again. Okay, it's green. Now my plots come up. Should make them a bit smaller, maybe my head's in the way. There we go. So now we've got, this is outdated. Now we've got 3 different models of options of what could happen over here. And basically what I do is I just look at the higher time frame to see what kind of trend direction is happening, and then we go in line with that. Whoopsie. So the point of me showing you this is because that's another opportunity there. So it would have been 2 solid trades. This is kind of like a quick trade if you are bored or whatever, but not always recommended. But these are opportunities as well. You can make a couple of $100 with good risk management, of course. That's why it's not thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars on these trades, and multiple versions of this builds up towards a really good trade day. All right, so the thing is that a lot of people can't handle the 30-second chart because it's too much for them, and or too much, it's exhausting, and you got to refigure things out, and sometimes you make a loss, you're going to bounce back from that loss and all that kind of stuff. And with this being available to live market conditions and so forth, and the AI kind of guiding us through, a lot of that emotional turmoil is falling to the wayside. So yeah, I've been focusing on this because I believe this is the future. And once I'm ready to launch, which hopefully won't be too long from now, and when we're going into a live stream, I'm then showing you guys the market forecasts from the AIs, and then trading the one that makes most sense. And I've got 3 of the smartest models giving me their diverse ideas of what could happen. Again, this is outdated. It's not, I haven't used the latest market conditions for this. And basically, just trade alongside it. And so yeah, so I haven't been doing market updates, I think is the point I'm trying to make. Mostly because I don't really want to waste my time anymore on the high time frames, waiting for confirmation, sitting on my hands, being steady, and that kind of thing. That I've been there before. It's not my style, and I like to have many rounds of profit coming in a day, which obviously accrue to many rounds of profits coming in per week. And I much prefer to operate the trading world in that regard than to kind of sit and wait and be, responsible and blah, 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 blah. I hate being told to wait. Yeah. And that's the reason why I haven't been doing daily market updates, guys. So I'm working hard at this, and I'm going to get this out soon. So I'm going to get back to it. Have a great day further, and ciao for now.